Tennessee is home to many types of birds, with over 400 species recorded in the state. While many of those birds may be quite hard to track down, there are a lot you can see right in your own backyard. Here at Bird Feeder Hub, we are located in Middle Tennessee, and the 33 species we will look at in today's video are all birds we see come through our yard on a regular basis. The species that will frequent your yard will vary depending on the habitat surrounding your house, but these are some of the most common backyard visitors. Even if you don't live in Tennessee, most of these birds are common species in the eastern United States, so you have a good chance of seeing some of them in your backyard too. First up is the American Goldfinch. American goldfinches are small yellow birds with black wings. They remain in Tennessee year-round, but change their appearance for the breeding season. In late winter, they molt into their spring and summer colors, bright yellow with black wings, and males have a black patch on their head. In late summer, they will molt again into their fall and winter colors, a much more subdued palette of dull yellow and olive brown. Males even lose their black head patch, and their orange summer beaks turn dark. Goldfinches love small seeds and can be attracted with black sunflower, but they especially love Niger seed. A sock or mesh Niger seed feeder can really help to attract them, as well as planting flowers that make late summer seeds like thistle and zinnia. Number 2 is the Carolina chickadee. Carolina chickadees are easy to spot with their black caps, white cheeks, and buffy undersides. They are small birds with a very rounded body shape. Known for their curious and bold nature, they remain in the southeastern U.S. year-round. They like to visit bird feeders for sunflower or mixed seeds. I've personally found that we get many more chickadee visitors when I have a feeder set up that only small birds can access, like a cage feeder. Perhaps they feel more comfortable dining with other small birds. Chickadees have an excellent memory and can remember the location of hundreds of food caches that they store away for the winter. Third is the northern cardinal. These striking red birds, with males showing vibrant red plumage and females displaying softer tawny hues, are year-round residents of Tennessee and the entire eastern United States. They are easily attracted to backyards with sunflower seed feeders and prefer open platform feeders or feeders with a large perch. The loud whistling song of male cardinals is a familiar sound in spring. And unlike most songbird species, the females sing too, although it is much quieter, usually reserved for communication with her mate. Male cardinals sometimes feed their female partner as part of a bonding ritual, and this is sometimes nicknamed the cardinal's kiss. Number 4 is the downy woodpecker. The smallest of the North American woodpeckers, the downy is also one of the most common woodpeckers you'll see at backyard feeders. They have white bellies and white spots on a black back. Males have a small red spot on the back of their head. Downy woodpeckers are seen year-round throughout most of the United States and Canada. Attract them to your yard with suet feeders, but they'll visit regular seed feeders too. Their small size allows them to reach food that larger woodpeckers can't, like balancing on delicate plant stems to extract their seeds. Our fifth bird is the red-bellied woodpecker. These medium-sized woodpeckers are known for their striking black and white barred backs and red caps. Females have a gray patch at the front of their face, while males' red stripe extends all the way from their beak to the back of their neck. These woodpeckers are year-round residents in much of the eastern United States and are often seen at feeders in wooded areas. Suet and seed mixes with larger pieces of nuts work best to attract them. Despite the name, their red bellies are there, but are often hard to see. Number 6, the red-headed woodpecker. Without stripes or spots, these woodpeckers stand out with bold blocks of color. They have entirely red heads, black backs, and white underparts. These birds are technically found in Tennessee year-round, however they tend to be a bit nomadic, traveling wherever they can find the best crop of acorns and beech nuts. Aside from large tree nuts, they are also very skilled at catching insects in midair. They are more elusive at feeders than other woodpeckers, however you may be able to occasionally attract them with suet and nuts. Number 7. The ruby-throated hummingbird. Ruby-throated hummingbirds are the only species of hummingbird that regularly breed in the eastern United States, and they return to Tennessee each year between April and October. They have white underparts with an iridescent green back, and males have a ruby-red throat patch. A feeder with nectar made from a ratio of 1 part sugar to 4 parts water is all you need to attract them. In our yard, we see the most hummingbirds between August and the beginning of October. After they've raised their young, they spend the late summer and early fall eating frequently to bulk up for their migration. Most ruby-throated hummingbirds fly across the Gulf of Mexico to spend the winter in Central America. Number 8. The rose-breasted grosbeak. Rose-breasted grosbeaks are medium-sized songbirds that migrate through Tennessee twice a year. They enjoy sunflower seeds, so if you have feeders out during their migration, they will often stop to eat for a week or more before continuing on. In the spring, males are hard to miss with their black and white bodies and rosy red chest patch. Females are cream-colored with heavy brown streaks. If you see them again in the fall, they tend to look a bit different. Most will either have brown and streaky colors like the females, or you'll see a bird that looks like a cross between a male and a female. Those are juvenile males who are slowly growing into their adult plumage. In Tennessee, keep your eyes peeled for them at feeders in mid to late April and again in mid to late September. Number 9. White-breasted nuthatch. Perhaps the most common nuthatch species, the white-breasted nuthatch is a year-round resident across much of the United States. They are small birds with bluish-gray backs, white underparts, a black cap, and a short tail. They're known for their habit of climbing head-first down tree trunks where they search the bark for insects. Nuthatches also use bark to help them crack open nuts. They will bring a nut or seed to the tree, jam it into the crevice in the bark, and then peck at it with their beak to crack it open. Sunflower seeds, nuts, and even suet will attract them to your feeders, and you can watch as they grab one seed at a time and bring it to a nearby tree. Number 10. The tufted titmouse. The tufted titmouse is a very common titmouse species across the eastern United States where they are found year-round. These small birds have slate gray backs, white underparts, black eyes, and a pointed crest on their head. Their crests can be raised high or flattened down to help them communicate with other birds. These talkative little birds will visit feeders for sunflower, mixed seed, and suet, often traveling in small flocks with chickadees. You'll often notice them grab a seed and hold it tightly between their feet as they eat it bit by bit. Number 11. The song sparrow. Song sparrows are year-round residents in Tennessee, although a portion of them may head north to breed in the summer. These little sparrows are brown and streaked with a noticeable dark spot on their chest. Their varied and cheerful songs can often be heard in brushy areas throughout the spring. While their appearance is similar to many other sparrow species, they are one of the most common to visit backyards. They will visit feeders for sunflower and mixed seed, but like many sparrows, they are often most comfortable looking for seeds on the ground underneath your feeders. Number 12. The white-throated sparrow. Easily identified by their bright white throat patches, white-throated sparrows are winter residents in Tennessee. There are two varieties, one with a bolder black and white head, and the other with a more subdued tan and brown head. Both varieties travel together, and often breeding pairs consist of one bird of each type. Look for them on the ground beneath your feeders or at ground feeders, foraging together in small flocks and mixed in with other winter birds like juncos. Number 13. The white-crowned sparrow. Another sparrow that is easy to identify, The white-crowned sparrow has striking black and white stripes on their head set against a gray throat and belly with a streaky brown back. White-crowned sparrows are winter visitors to Tennessee. They are more often seen in open fields and along field edges, but they will visit backyards looking for seeds on the ground like the other sparrows we've mentioned, especially if you have clusters of shrubs or brush piles in your yard. Number 14, the house sparrow. House sparrows are not native to the United States, but became very widespread after being introduced and are now seen year-round in Tennessee. Females are light brown with a mottled back and usually a noticeable light stripe over the eye. Males have some chestnut red coloring, a gray cap, and black patch below the beak. If you have birdhouses in your yard, they can cause problems competing with native species for the cavity and have even been known to force birds already nesting out of a box. Number 15, the Carolina wren. This larger member of the wren family is a welcome backyard visitor for most, with their cheerful tea kettle song and bouncy personality. They have a round body with rich reddish-brown coloring and a white eyebrow stripe. You'll often see them hopping around shrubs and vegetation hunting for insects, and they aren't shy about coming up close to your house to investigate every nook and cranny. They also visit feeders for suet and sometimes sunflower seeds. Number 16, house finch. Perhaps one of the most commonly seen feeder birds is the house finch. Once only found in the western United States, they are now firmly established in the east as well. These small finches are mostly light brown with darker brown streaks, and males have a reddish wash on their head and chest. The amount of red coloring males have can vary greatly from bird to bird. They enjoy sunflower seed, mixed seed, and Niger seed. You'll often see them in male and female pairs or in small flocks. They're also known to be bold when it comes to building their nests near people, sometimes using objects like decorative wreaths or hanging planters. Number 17, the mourning dove. These slender, gray-brown birds with long tails and soft cooing calls are seen year-round in Tennessee. They are prolific breeders, often raising multiple broods in a season. Their nests are almost comically flimsy, just a thin layer of twigs and grass to lay their eggs on. They also often nest close to people's houses in eaves or planter pots. You may have noticed every time they fly away, they make a distinctive whistling noise. That sound is actually produced by their wings. Doves like to feed from the ground and will often be seen below feeders, but they also like large platform feeders where they have room to stand. They prefer smaller seeds like millet, which is included in most mixed seeds. Number 18, the dark-eyed junco. Dark-eyed juncos are winter visitors in Tennessee and are nicknamed snowbirds because they usually show up sometime in November, a sign that colder weather is on the way. There are many varieties of juncos, but here we usually get the slate-colored variety, which is mostly dark gray with a white belly and a small pinkish beak. They are often seen foraging on the ground beneath feeders in small flocks and mixed in with other winter birds like white-throated sparrows. They like sunflower seeds and mixed seeds. Number 19, the eastern towhee. Eastern towhees are year-round residents in Tennessee, but you are much more likely to see them in your yard if your neighborhood has a good amount of vegetation and your backyard has plenty of shrubs and overgrown borders. Towhees like to forage in these brushy areas for insects, especially by hopping around the ground, searching through leaf litter. Eastern towhees have a white belly and a thick band of rusty orange on their sides. Males have a black head and back, while females have a brown head and back. Towhees may visit the ground beneath your feeders looking for fallen seeds, especially if your feeders are close enough to some shrubs or the brushy edge of your yard where they can make a quick escape. Number 20, the brown thrasher. Brown thrashers are large birds with a long body and long tail. They have warm brown along their back and a light belly covered in dark brown streaks. They are known for their impressive vocal abilities, often mimicking other birds, and can sing up to 1,000 different song variations. They remain year-round in Tennessee and are the only thrasher species found in the East. While they have a big voice, they prefer to remain somewhat hidden in dense vegetation, so you're most likely to get them in your yard if you have a lot of plants and shrubs. They like to feed from the ground and may come to look for seeds beneath your feeders. Number 21, the northern mockingbird. Another bird with impressive songs and mimicking abilities is the northern mockingbird. This is the official state bird of Tennessee, and I can see why. They seem to be everywhere. They have a long, slim gray body with light underparts and big white wing patches. Mockingbirds are very defensive when it comes to protecting their nest and their territory in general. They aren't too common at feeders, but may visit for suet or sunflower seeds. They love berries, so planting some fruiting trees and shrubs in the yard can help to attract them. You can enjoy their beautiful songs in the spring and early summer, and then again in the fall as males sing to claim their winter territory. Number 22, the blue jay. Blue jays are a very familiar backyard bird in the eastern half of the United States, where they remain year-round. These large, striking bluebirds have pointed head crests and a repertoire of loud and interesting calls. They are known for their hawk impersonations, especially the red-shouldered hawk, which they can either use as a warning or to scare off other birds. They've fooled me many times. Blue jays enjoy sunflower seeds and suet, but they especially love nuts. Peanuts in the shell has always been a surefire way to attract them to our feeders. If you have oak trees in your yard, you're sure to see them because they love acorns. They are known for collecting and stashing hundreds, sometimes even thousands of acorns during the fall to help them get through the winter. Number 23, the European starling. Starlings are glossy, dark birds with light speckles all over their body in the winter that slowly fade away into the summer. They are found year-round across most of the U.S., but are a non-native species. Introduced from Europe, these birds are known for their large, noisy flocks and aggressive behavior towards native bird species at feeders. If one shows up at your feeder, more are likely to follow as they rarely travel alone. They'll eat just about anything, but I've found that suet seems to attract them more than seeds. If they become a big problem at your feeders, try taking them down for a week or more until the flock moves on. Number 24, the brown-headed cowbird. Males are glossy black with dark brown heads, while females are plain grayish-brown. They are year-round residents in Tennessee and are known for brood parasitism, a practice where instead of caring for and raising their own babies, they lay their eggs in the nests of other bird species and make them do all the work of raising their young. They like grassland and open areas, often traveling in flocks with other blackbirds. They may visit platform feeders or look for seeds on the ground below your feeders. Number 25, the red-winged blackbird. The red-winged blackbird is an abundant species across most of the country. Males are glossy black with bright red and yellow shoulder patches, while females are streaky brown. They are commonly seen in Tennessee during spring and summer in marshy areas and near standing water, but may show up in your yard at any time. In winter, they gather in enormous flocks and travel around looking for seeds, especially in large fields or meadows. If you live near their preferred habitat, you may get a lot of them at your feeder. Or if you're like us, they may show up from time to time and only stay a short while before moving on. Number 26, the common grackle. With their iridescent black plumage, yellow eyes, and long tails, grackles are large and striking birds. They're year-round residents in Tennessee and are often seen in large flocks, thriving in both urban and rural areas. They like wetlands and agricultural fields, as well as suburban parks and backyards. Grackles prefer to feed on the ground and can be attracted by scattering a mix of seed, grain, and cracked corn. Common grackles love corn and can be a big headache for corn farmers when a flock descends on their crop. Number 27, the eastern bluebird. Eastern bluebirds are always a delight with their blue bodies, white bellies, and orange chests. In Tennessee, eastern bluebirds are generally year-round residents, although some do migrate. They nest in cavities and readily use nest boxes, so having a bluebird box is one way to attract them to your yard. Bluebirds like open woodland habitat, and you'll often see them perching on low branches watching the ground for insects. They'll swoop down to grab their prey and then return back to their perch. Bluebirds don't eat much seed, so if you want to attract them to feeders, mealworms are your best bet. They also use bird baths, so that's a good way to interest them in your yard if you don't want to deal with mealworms. Number 28, the Cooper's hawk. Most of you watching this video probably have at least one bird feeder, so we've included the Cooper's hawk. These medium-sized hawks have slate gray backs and rusty barred chests, although juveniles are seen just as frequently and they are brown with heavy streaks. They are year-round residents and are commonly seen hunting at bird feeders, using stealth and speed to catch smaller birds like pigeons and doves. You may spot them perched on or near your feeders, but they tend to move on fairly quickly. Number 29, the American robin. Easily recognized by their orange chest, gray back, black head, and white ring around the eye, robins are a common sight hopping across lawns in search of earthworms. They're year-round residents in Tennessee, although tend to be seen less frequently during the winter. Robins are well known for their cheerful song, and in the spring they're one of the first birds to sing in the morning and the last to stop singing in the evening. They may visit bird feeders but don't frequently eat seeds. Mealworms will attract them, as well as bird baths. If you want to help provide food for them during the winter, add some winter fruiting bushes to your yard, as their diet turns to a lot of berries in the colder months. Our 30th bird is the house wren. House wrens return to Tennessee and most of the United States every spring. They are tiny, plain brown birds that are common in backyards, even if you don't know they're there. These expert insect eaters don't visit bird feeders, but if you put up a birdhouse, they are sure to come and check it out. House wrens are very common nest box users, filling the box nearly to the top with small twigs to create a platform for their eggs. Number 31, the northern flicker. Northern flickers are unique, medium-sized woodpeckers that prefer to forage on the ground rather than in trees. They love to eat ants, and if you live in an area with trees and open ground, you will likely spot them on your lawn pecking into the dirt or searching through leaf litter. Flickers have beautiful plumage with black spots on their bellies, a solid black bib, a red patch on the back of their neck, and barred black and gray wings. In Tennessee, we have the yellow-shafted variety with bright yellow feathers on the underside of their wings and tail. Males have a black mustache-like stripe on their face, while females do not. They do sometimes visit bird feeders, especially for suet. Number 32, the pileated woodpecker. Pileated woodpeckers are the largest of the woodpecker family in North America, with striking red crests and bold black and white bodies. They are year-round residents and are known for their loud drumming and the large rectangular holes they excavate in trees while looking for food. Their favorite thing to eat is carpenter ants, so most of the trees they are interested in are already in the process of being broken down by insects. They may come to a suet feeder that is large enough for them, but you'll mainly see them in your yard if you have stands of mature trees. Last but certainly not least, Number 33 on our list is the gray catbird. Catbirds are dark slate gray all over with a black cap and a long tail. They are mostly fruit-eating birds and are likely to visit yards where they can find berries like pokeweed, dogwood, blackberry, and serviceberry. Catbirds like to stay hidden away in dense foliage, so you may hear them more often than you see them. As their name suggests, they have a long, yowling call that sounds a bit like a meowing cat. They are also a great mimic like the mockingbirds and thrashers, stringing together long, intricate songs. Gray catbirds are found in Tennessee only during the spring and summer. Besides berries in your yard, you can sometimes entice them to feeders by putting out orange halves or fruit jelly. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed learning about some of the many birds you are likely to see in Tennessee backyards. Let us know in the comments below what other interesting backyard birds you've spotted that didn't make it onto this list. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more backyard birding tips and facts.